Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi, I'm Tara. Welcome to Knit Desserts. I'm coming to you from southern Wisconsin where I like to knit all the time, and I'm sharing all my knitting adventures with you. I've got a little change of scenery today. I'm in my dining room and I've got my little Halloween decor behind me, and I think the lighting in here is pretty good, so just trying something new. Got a dessert today. It is a pumpkin chocolate chip bar. This is basically a pumpkin muffin or bread, but in a cake form. So, cheers. It's Rhinebeck weekend. Anybody else feeling the FOMO? I don't feel too much FOMO. I definitely don't need more yarn, but it would be fun to go and see everybody's cool knits and all the meetups. I'm wearing a new fall knit. I just finished the mini mock neck tank. This is by Jessie Maed Designs, and it's been all over the internet, so I had to make one. And I searched high and low for the perfect olive green. I found that I had a kind of gap in my wardrobe with an olive green undershirt or a tank top. So this I think is really nice. It can be used for layering under stuff and over stuff. I like the shape of the armhole a lot more than I expected. I thought it would be like kind of too cinched in at the top, but actually it sits really nice. But I do have to wear like a certain bra with it, the kind of sports bra that's a little more racer back but still has a little bit of structure shaping. I continued the ribbing all the way down the side because I saw someone else do that and I thought it looked cool, sporty, and it would kind of like cinch in the waist where I needed it. Now I only found one skein of this yarn. It is Earth Yarns Harvest Fingering. So here's the tag. Spilled some pizza or something on there, but whatever. And it's the color Grape Leaf. So this is a 100% superwash merino. I bought it purely for the color because I had found some other similar kind of colors, but maybe they were more speckled or more the wrong weight, like a DK weight, and I wanted something that was not too dark and forest green, but not too like pea green. And I really like the cool like tonal effect of this yarn. And one thing I noticed is it's 4 plies, but each of the 4 plies is a 2-ply. I don't know if you can see that really. So it's like super high twist. And I had recently watched one of Roxanne Richardson talked about this in a video, that when you have those like plies on top of a ply, it can kind of create this biasing effect, which you don't notice too much in my knit because it's not tight enough that the stitches are really sitting on top of each other, but it kind of adds more twist to one side of the stitch, and it can look it creates just a different look than more woolen spun yarn would. So yeah, I really like this. I only had one skein, so it's pretty short. It's like very cropped, but I find my belly buttons, like here, if I wear it with a really high-waisted skirt, it's just perfect. If I wear it with regular pants, I prefer to wear something over it. But I found that it works well with a lot of stuff over it. I'll do a few different styles and insert those here for you to see. So this style is just with a cropped sweater. This is a thrifted sweater I found, and it's just, it's got the perfect length sleeves for me, and it's just the perfect, like, high-waisted cropped length. So I don't have much opportunity to wear this, but with swing dancing I do tend to wear a lot of high-waisted skirts, and it goes well with those. Obviously I don't wear it much while dancing because it's pretty warm, but for just the kind of vintage look, it works really nicely. Speaking of swing dancing and fashion, I actually worked on this top at a swing dance event. It was Great Lakes Balboa Escape in Chicago, and I was volunteering at the front desk, and it was kind of a slow shift, so I knitted on this. And it was really fun because there are some other knitters there who came up and talked to me about their projects, or said, I'm a knitter too, or my mom's a knitter, or I crochet, or how did you get into knitting? So it was a nice conversation starter for the event. And I think I could wear it dancing now. So maybe you'll see me next year at the same event sporting my tank top. I did the neckline as recommended in the pattern. I did 1.5 inches. I did the tubular bind off, and as I'm wearing it, it's getting a little more easy to stretch over my head, but I do have to take off my glasses when I put it on, otherwise they'll get knocked off because it's pretty tight. I don't have a huge head, so but I didn't do anything special with the bind off to make it looser. So I used all but this much yarn. I had not even enough for another row. I actually tried to do a tubular bind off down at the bottom, and then I ran out of yarn at like the last 10 stitches, and I lost the yarn chicken game. I had to go back like 2 rows and then bind off. So I've been wearing this for a couple days with different outfits, and I think it's nice that it kind of extends the seasonal life of some more summery or transitional garments, where you can like wear a lower neck shirt over top of this, and it just gives you a little more warmth at the top, and it gives a more fall look with the higher neckline. So I'm looking forward to wearing this a lot. Next up, that's fresh off the needles, is my Levain Cardigan. This pattern is out now. I test knitted it for Jenn Lampen of Synaptic Stitches. and it was really a pleasure to knit. I really increased my confidence and ability to knit really complex brioche patterns, and I love the finished result. The yarn I used is Knit Picks High Desert Sport in the colors Bear, undyed, and the red is Wildfire. And I had fixed the red dye with some like vinegar in hot water before I knitted, because I didn't want any running of the dye when I blocked it. And I think that worked pretty well. I haven't gotten any pink bleeding into the white. So I knit the size 4. I think it's 41-ish inches. So it has some positive ease. And I made it a little more cropped than it was called for in the pattern. It was meant to have like another half a repeat. I added a lot of length to the sleeve and they turned out just perfect. But I find that if I wear a long sleeve shirt underneath, it kind of grips on the shirt, so if I wanted to pull it up, it will stay up that way. If I'm not wearing a long sleeve shirt under it, it will kind of slide down because I don't have any elastic in the cuff. And the cuff has stretched a little bit, but that's all right. I actually ran out of this Bear yarn near the end. This collar is supposed to be 4 inches wide so that it kind of overlaps more. But I ran out. I had 4 100-gram skeins of the white, and I used this much in my swatch, about 9 grams of the white, and I had to kind of take some little scraps and spit splice at the end to have enough to finish the bind off. But I really like that the collar matches the width of the binding at the bottom. So I do find that with not having as much width up at the neck, it can tend to slide a little more off the shoulders, but it hasn't been problematic. So this cardigan is really more inspired by fall, like wheat harvest. Levain is a name for sourdough starter or leavening. And I chose to knit it in red and white because I like the contrast. And I thought it would look more like Christmassy or really holiday-y. But here in Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers colors are red and white, so I feel like it works really well here for football season. Not that I'm really watching the games, but I feel like it blends in. It doesn't stick out as being like a Christmassy cardigan. And then it can also work like post-holidays in January. I don't feel like it shouts Christmas. It's really more of just a general winter cardigan. So I'm really happy. And then here is the back side. For seaming, it was really easy to seam. You use mattress stitch, and it looks almost invisible on the sides because you just have like a little red and white continuation of the stripes. The sleeves were a little more difficult, but if you just match it up at the top and bottom and a couple of points along the sides, it keeps your seaming even. And then picking up stitches, I picked up, so there's the last full stitch and then there's a selvage edge. I picked up between the edge stitch and the full stitch. So it was pretty tight to this stitch and it creates a continuous line up and down. So I'm really enjoying wearing this everywhere I go recently. Okay, I think that's it for the Levain cardigan. I think I might make this cardigan again. So if you recall in the first episode, I had swatched with this Barocco Lanus Light. It's another sport weight, but I thought that the wheat pattern was not really contrasty enough for my liking, but I really like the color combination in general, and I might just knit this cardigan again using the same pattern and eliminating the wheat design, just going straight with brioche. But then I was thinking the pressed flowers cardigan also uses sport weight, and this might be kind of cool. But also it might not be contrasty enough, because that one is kind of nice with a more bright color for the flowers. So let me know what you think in the comments, if I should do this cardigan again or a pressed flowers cardigan with the green and taupey beigey gray. All right, let's talk about this long-term whip, the daily pullover. I made some progress this month. I'm almost done with the second sleeve. I am sort of done with the first sleeve, but I'm going to redo the ribbing. And the reason is because I took this knit on a car ride to Canada. I had a work trip and my coworker drove, and I knitted the sleeve. But I had forgotten to bring a smaller size needle for the ribbing, so I just kind of knit enough where I felt like I would have enough yarn when I reknit it in a smaller size, and then I did a bind off that was easy to unravel so that I could unravel it when the time came. So now I'm working on sleeve number 2, and I'll give it a little try on. So I think I'm always nervous with these, like, is the yoke depth going to be long enough? And I think it is. It's just kind of odd because it's like has more ease in the body but not in the arm. But honestly, I think it's going to be just fine. So I have a giant cable in here on the bottom I'm going to pull out. Can see more how it would look fitted. Okay, how cute is that? Yeah, so the sleeve ended up being about right where I like it, and this sleeve is, I've just done like 1 or 2 rows of the ribbing. It's just perfect. And then I have stitches on hold up here at the back, and I'll pick up along the neckline, do the collar, and then I'll probably finish the body after that. Speaking of Canada, okay, I have my coffee in this Detroit mug here, and you can see the skyline. I should know what these buildings are, but I am bad Michigander. I don't know what any of these buildings are. So I went to Windsor, Canada, which is right across the border from Detroit, and it's actually south. So if you're from Detroit, you know that in the song Don't Stop Believin', when they say born and raised in South Detroit, you're like, do they mean Windsor, Canada? Because there's really no such thing as South Detroit. So of course, while I was there, I had the song Don't Stop Believin' in my head the whole entire time, 2 whole days. It's not a big deal. It's a pretty good song, you know. I took a lot of photos of the skyline while I was there. We had a nice hotel view right on the riverfront, and I could see all the buildings, the GM Rensen and all those other ones that I don't actually know what they are, and I think like Ford Field or whatever. So it was really a cool view, and there was a spider like right in my window, and if I looked at the right angle, it kind of looked like the spider was trying to take over Detroit, like Godzilla taking over the Empire State Building. And I also have family in Detroit area, so it was a nice opportunity to stop and have dinner with my parents and my brother and his girlfriend. And we ate at One-Eyed Betty's in Ferndale, so recommend that if you have never been there. So I'm trying to finish the daily pullover before November, and then I've swatched for the Portage cardigan, which I talked about as a kind of dream knit in my first episode. So this yarn is beautiful Knit Picks Gloss. It's a DK weight in the color Masala. This is 70% merino wool and 30% silk, so it's nice and drapey. So there are two gauges given. There's a stockinette gauge and then there's the cable gauge. So I did kind of two swatches in one. And I think my stitch gauge is okay, but my row gauge is longer. So I'm not sure. I might have to go down a needle size. I haven't blocked this either, so I should do that before I decide anything. Kind of matches my nail polish. This nail polish also matches my front door paint. Very autumnal. But I like the yarn and the pattern. I like this fabric, the density of it, so I'm not sure if I'd want to go down a needle size. But to do these kind of honeycomb cables, it's just a left cross, right cross, left cross, right cross, and then on the it's a one stitch over the other, and then one stitch under the other, and then on the row above you switch it. So when you did a right cross, you'll do a left cross, and when you did a left cross, you'll do a right cross. And there are some like little holes in there, but it's really cool texture. So I'm really looking forward to knitting that, and I am planning to have this one done by Thanksgiving. And not that it needs to be done anytime, but I think creating a fake deadline kind of gives me motivation to finish. Unfortunately, I think before Thanksgiving I will have a work trip where I'll be working night shifts and might not have a lot of time to knit on this, but hopefully during the day I'll have a little bit of energy to work on it. I don't have any updates on spinning this month. I did spin a little more of that green Cormo, but not enough to really have a significant update to share. You got some time to hang out? I'm gonna do some knitting on my cuff for my daily pullover, and feel free to just chill and knit along with me. Let me know what you've been up to this month. Other stuff I've done, I went to a concert. There's this venue in Spring Green, Wisconsin called the Shitty Barn, and they bring in smaller acts, and we went to see Newski. He's kind of like a indie 90s inspired musician, kind of rockin'. And it was hilarious. So it's a place where you bring your own chairs and you just kind of camp out in a seat. And we were in a kind of an awkward corner, me and my boyfriend. And there was this one part of the show where he high-fived someone in the audience, and then he decided to go around the whole audience and high-five everybody. But for some reason we were just in that awkward spot where he missed us, and so everybody in the whole venue got a high five except for us. And then then we went up to him after at the merch table and we got our high fives. So it all worked out in the end. Yeah, just been knitting all the time. I watched Flannel and Pearls on the recommendation of Lisa from Soulful Spinning, and he has a nice segment at the end where he does some just chill and knit with me content like this. But yeah, he had such nice music, and it was just fun to knit along with someone, so that's the vibe I'm trying to go for. Anybody's welcome here. Let me know what you're working on. Yeah, speaking of inspiration, my mini mock neck tank, of course, you've been seeing them everywhere. Jackie from Caddy Jack's Knits made a whole bunch. I think Friend to Friend, Leslie, made one. And this Thread of Gold podcast, forget her name. I always forget people's names, but I remember their podcast title. But she made one, and she had this like gold necklace, right, that fit just along the edge of the collar. It was really glamorous, so I said, man, I need to make one of these tank tops. And it was a quick kind of palette cleanser, like no texture, but really nice professional finishing techniques, and quicker to knit because obviously no sleeves, it's a little bit cropped. Just stockinette. So it was a nice in-between project. Keeping my yarn on this little spindle thing. I bought a paper towel holder, and then I think I found a Lazy Susan, and I took off the Lazy Susan board and put the paper towel holder board on. But it has this hole on the bottom where you can access the screws. And then I sanded the whole thing and stained it to match each other because they were different colors. So I use this to hold my yarn while I'm knitting if I have a simple one skein project. So it's much cheaper than buying those like $35 ones, but you kind of gotta look out at the thrift stores for the parts because they're not easy to find, but maybe you'll be lucky. wind outside. It's pretty, sounds pretty, sounds kind of violent out there. We're at really peak fall color right now. It's beautiful. I've been trying not to stop and take pictures every 2 minutes on the road. But even like in a not that fancy little neighborhood like mine, I just appreciate all the color. We have a lot of trees that grow up around power lines, and then they have to cut the trees away from the power lines, so they kind of cut them into a banana shape or a V shape depending on the location. And it's just amazing that the trees make it through. They survive all this weird kind of human intervention. Okay, I'm gonna finish the recording now, but please enjoy all the fall color that I will insert some video of, and I'll see you next time.